we are in the Dade City studio today, and we're going to be actually pre-recording for our Thursday show. And today's show is a spotlight on local businesses, and we're going to be talking to Sabrina Simpson. She's with the Southern Sweetheart, and we're going to have Lisa go ahead and get both of us in for the show here. Say good morning, Lisa, and Lee will be producing the show for us today. And I'm going to give you the stream.
Say hello, Sabrina. You're on.
Okay. So let's see. Maybe I can use. So we're ready when you're ready. Just.
I'll give you 3, 2. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Tampa Home Talk. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell, and we are going to be featuring a local business spotlight today on our show. Thank you for joining us. And the mission of our show here at Tampa Home Talk is to help you keep and maintain great credit, live within your means, build wealth, and to make your everyday life better. We love to talk about anything in and around the real estate space, and also very community oriented. And so without further ado, I'd love to introduce our guest for today's show. She is with the Southern Sweetheart, and we're going to talk all about her business, how she got started, where she got the name, and what you can expect to find in her store. Welcome to the show, Sabrina Simpson.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So tell me a little bit about the Southern Sweetheart. What is the Southern Sweetheart?
The Southern Sweetheart is a boutique, but also we do event planning, and we have all kinds of goodies that you can use for gifts or yourself.
So you guys are actually, you're going to be having a grand opening because you're changing locations from where you are now.
Correct. We're currently in downtown Zephyr Hills, but we are moving to Gold Boulevard right next to the Hobby Lobby. It's a bigger space, gives us more room to add more inventory, and then also it's a great location being next to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, you have a lot of really good walk-in traffic there.
Absolutely, yes.
So it sounds a little bit like a hodgepodge initially, like when you just kind of say, I do this and this and this and all this, but really there's a little bit of a method to your madness. And when we were talking before the show, I asked you, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, did the boutique come first, or did the event and wedding planning come first? And ironically, it was the event and wedding planning.
Yes. The event and wedding planning I've been doing for a few years now. I started off just helping friends and family with their weddings, with their events, and I just absolutely love doing it. And I thought, okay, let's go ahead and give it a try. So, of course, I started the Southern Sweetheart Company, and then...
now, was that specifically tied in for the wedding planning and event planning? Okay.
Yes, for the event planning. And then it wasn't filling every single day of, my business, so I thought, what else can I add to...
complement
it, exactly. To complement the event, to, what can people come in and maybe buy for a wedding, or wear to, a fun wedding or event, and that's where the boutique side of it came along.
It's so funny because I actually know this couple that had a camouflage wedding. And if I knew you, I would have connected you, because I feel like you would have been a perfect match.
Absolutely,
for that couple trying to do that different theme of a camouflage wedding. So you started out with some friends. Like, how did the first one go? Like, who was the first person you helped with the wedding planning?
Was my friend Nessa Bliss.
Okay.
Well, actually, Nessa Hampton now. She wanted some help just planning, decorating, and I said, absolutely, I'm very crafty, and I love doing that. I love helping people do that. So I said, absolutely, sign me up. I'll do it. So I ended up doing the decorations for her, the flower arrangements, centerpieces, the day of, everything, setting everything up for her, and it turned out amazing. Better than I had imagined. So, and she was very, very happy.
It can be a lot, to plan your own wedding. And I speak from experience when I say that. Like, my husband and I, we got married 18 years ago now, so it's been a long time. And, at the time, I don't think wedding planners were really as available and prevalent as they are now.
A lot of people still don't know about wedding planners or event coordinators. And if you're busy, you have a full-time job, planning a wedding itself is a full-time job. So it can be very stressful, and a wedding coordinator or planner can certainly alleviate some of that stress for you.
Well, what I found is there was a lot of things that went wrong. I mean, it was fine. It was still our day. It was perfect. But, like, we have no video from our wedding.
Oh.
This was pre-digital age. So, you know, the photographer showed up, thank goodness. We had audio from our wedding. But, you know, things like my husband was supposed to be in an all-white tux. You know, white tails, white pants, white shoes, and end up having black pants. We look a little bit like a penguin. And we didn't realize till, you know, the day of the wedding because, you know, my husband had 2 jobs. He was going to hire the video guy and try on the tux.
There you go.
Which happened. And we're still married today, so that's good.
There's a lot of little hiccups that happened even on my wedding. We were supposed to drive away in this old antique car, and that car never showed up. But, you know.
I thought you were going to say the car didn't start or something like that. That's what I was expecting.
The car never showed up. But, you know, back then, what was that, 8 years ago, I didn't even plan a wedding planner either. So that's something that your wedding coordinator or planner will certainly help you make sure everybody, all your vendors are on time,
Yes.
that they're going to show up, that it does run smoothly for
So
you.
some of the services, just kind of looking from your PowerPoint presentation that you guys offer is event consultation, which that's probably a very big part to start there.
Absolutely.
Because I think most brides probably really don't know what to expect with the whole thing. You have an idea, like you know you need food and flowers and probably a video person, but there's a lot more logistics than that.
Absolutely. So the consultation basically sits you down and see what the bride or what the person has in mind for their event. So you kind of can get on the same page, and then you can help them plan, okay, well, have you thought about the food? What type of food have you thought about? Even what you're going to serve the food on. All the big things, but the little things, too, that you might not think of.
And so what other events do you do besides weddings?
I do any and all events. I've done a 5-year-old's birthday party, princess party, graduation party. Whatever you need me to do, I can even do housewarming parties for you.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. I love that.
Yes.
So also you do a lot of the decorating for the event. So you go in and plan and prepare and just get ready.
Yeah, that's a different, you can have me do that, or if you are crafting yourself, you can do that, but a lot of people don't have the time. So I can certainly go in, set it up, even design the decorations for you.
So notary and officiant services, so do you actually marry people too?
I do, and I love that too, because you're right up front, and you can see their emotions and stuff. It's I love it.
You know, it's funny because I am a notary, so I've been asked to marry people, which I have. It's just not my forte. Like they really almost have to like twist my arm backwards to do it because I'm like, I'm not a minister. I'm like the wrong person to do this. Like if you want help with the real estate contracts, I can help you with that, but I'm not a good, you know.
Yeah, I'll help them write their vows, do the whole thing for them, help them.
Nice.
Absolutely.
So boutique and personalized gift. This is a neat little spin on it because if the brides have, like most of the time the brides will give their bridesmaids a little gift.
Yes, and you want it to be something special. So we do have those unique special gifts that you can't just walk into any store and get. We do personalization and embroidery as well, so it is specific, and you feel special when you get that gift from the Southern Sweetheart.
That makes sense to me. And you have a lot of different packages that you offer people, so it's not like, okay, this is our package, this is how much it is.
Yes.
In the initial consultation kind of gives you guys an idea where to start.
Absolutely, because you don't know if you want me just to help you get started, to get a theme for the party, or if you need me to actually go with you to meet with the vendors or to set up your appointments for you.
So some of the things, like I'm looking through your presentation, and one of the things that you might not think about, which is on here, is cake tasting.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Absolutely. You want to make sure that the cake tastes good for your guests.
Right.
So you
Because an average wedding cake these days runs how much?
a few $100s. They're expensive.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
if you're going to spend a couple $100, you probably want your guests to eat the cake.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and then most wedding planners, I would imagine a lot of the value is not only handling a lot of the tasks and things that happen during, but also making sure you have proper insurance.
Yes.
Making sure your guests don't get hurt, making sure you're the responsible, sober one at the event.
And making sure that your vendors are going to show up, because you'd hate to hire a DJ or, you know, something that's a very important part of the party or the wedding, and then they don't come. So your wedding planner coordinator will help you do that, make sure that they are licensed, that they are a reputable vendor for you.
So to leave the stress out and have somebody like you plan it, what can someone expect to spend as part of their wedding budget?
I would say a good average would be like 10% of the
Okay.
wedding budget.
And that can be flexible depending on how much or how little they want.
Exactly.
And there's a very big percentage of people that still do not hire wedding planners.
Yes.
And it would be fun to hear some of those stories. I mean, I shared with mine. I could probably take up a whole segment on that, but I'm not going to. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what percentage of people actually don't hire a wedding planner, some of the snafus that they can expect. And then also we'll get into a little bit more of the details, and we'll talk about the Southern Sweetheart Boutique a little bit more. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. We'll be back in just a few minutes. How do we do on time? Right on time?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Just like having a conversation, huh?
Yeah.
I know.
Very
How,
easy.
how simple is that? Right? Just talking. Let me just try to get that. Is that going to bother you if that's
No.
there? Okay.
That's what I was trying to get closer to her.
Yeah, I just want to. Yeah, so you're facing
Can you
the
still
mic.
see us, or we like?
You come over this way if you
Oh,
can.
there's a video.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, can you guys give me check 1, 2, 3?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Checking
6.
1, 2, 3.
That's better. That's better. It's weird the way the mics were set up. It created a sound. It's okay, but it created a strange sound.
Okay.
It's a phasing thing, which I don't even understand. But hey, I got a question. You guys are notaries, both of you. What do you charge to notarize a document?
Nothing for you.
Nothing.
I just don't have my seal with me.
What about like a bunch of them?
What do you need notarized?
Notarized documents.
Like what? Is it?
Documents.
It's getting
What does it
personal.
matter?
We have to ask what it is.
Well, I'll let you know.
They're
when.
gonna read it.
But I'll call you.
Okay.
You know, when I need you.
If you tell me when, I'll bring my seal with.
Awesome. Good. Thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
All right. So.
I'm sure I'll need a favor in return. So.
I'm not doing you a favor. Right
Oh,
now?
I know. You're always here.
What about you guys like Allman Brothers? I know I'm Allman, but for Southern, no.
Like
You're
Southern
like,
what?
who are the Allman Brothers,
That
right?
song.
No, but that's not sweetheart. You want something
Sweet Melissa?
sweet, Melissa?
No.
If her name was Melissa, maybe, but it's Sabrina.
You want something Southern? You want Sweet Home Alabama or something?
Yeah, that's better.
Except we're in Florida.
Yeah.
We're no good Florida songs.
What about Florida Georgia Line? They've got a
What's
bunch
some
of
songs you like? That song you just put on Facebook the other day that you love.
Oh.
That one. Tell him he'll do that one.
What is it called?
Let me go look.
Head Over Boots for You.
See, that's a
Head Over
cute
Boots for You.
one. Because it goes along with the love and wedding planning and stuff like that.
Okay. You don't know who does it, right? But I'll find it. You want it at the intro too, or do you have to do your regular
You can
intro?
mix it up. Yeah, the regular intro. Yeah.
Did somebody knock on something? Or was that the door?
I think it was us moving around.
Okay.
Nope, just us out there.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
72, 10 minutes. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Thanks so much for sticking with us through the break. And if you missed the earlier part of the show, we are in the studio today with Sabrina Simpson. She is with the Southern Sweetheart Boutique and Event Planning. And their spin is a little bit different. In the last segment, we were talking a little bit about, what a wedding planner can do for you. And we're going to give you some reasons why you should hire a wedding planner. And before the break, I was talking about the percentage of people that don't hire a wedding planner is 19%.
Yes, it's very surprising. You would think so many more would hire an event planner, but a lot of people, I think, think that they can do it themselves. They're crafty, or they just are very organized. But what they don't realize is all the little nitty-gritty things that aren't so fun to do that can kind of stress you out. And I'm sure they still have a great wedding, a great event, but a wedding planner and a event coordinator can certainly alleviate some of that so that you can have a smooth event and not have to stress so much. You can have a good time.
So the 19 people that don't hire, I'm curious if it's like fear of the unknown, if it's the extra cost they feel like they don't have. But like in my experience, even like when you think about hiring a real estate professional, right? People think, oh, well, 6% of your listing is a lot of money. But experience shows that if you hire a good rock star agent like me, I'm going to have the tools, the resources, and the people you need to make I'm going to be worth every single bit of that 6% you're going to pay me, because I'm going to get you that back in return. So if you think about like just your vendors alone, like not only the time it would take to shop vendors, but make sure you get ones that are going to show up. And you've already probably price shopped a lot of these people.
Absolutely.
So you have negotiated deals, a regular relationship with them. So they're going to, so I guess what I'm saying is like photography, for example. You may hire, and that's a huge part of the budget. Isn't that like 10% or so?
It's a huge part of the budget. And it's a very important part of the budget,
right,
because that's your memories that they're going to capture. So you want to make sure you have a great photographer.
So you may have somebody that like, okay, you found somebody for $5,000 or $10,000 to do the photography at your wedding. You may have a relationship with someone where they might do it for like $3,500 or $7,500. So what I'm saying is the cost savings like is the value add.
Right. You're saving money not only having to spend all of your time to shop these vendors, but also you're going to get a great vendor when you go through one of the preferred vendors of your consultant. Absolutely.
It's a lot of time to research those people and then make sure, and you can read reviews or get recommendations from people, but I mean, you never know.
Absolutely.
So we're going to give you 5 reasons why hiring a wedding planner is the way to go. And number 1 is they're wedding experts, which is kind of what we were just talking about.
Yeah, we do it all the time. We do it, while we're sleeping. It's something that we do. We know the ins and outs of it. So why stress yourself out in having to do that? So we know what to ask, the right questions, and to make sure that they are insured and that. So.
And it's funny because I just glanced down at this, but I was already ahead of myself, because number 2 is they're money savers.
They're money savers because we work out and negotiate with the vendors to get you a good deal. But also, we have some tricks of the trade that can help you save money. We teach you or help you stay on budget. If you're not going to spend a full, 10% on this vendor, maybe you save it here because you're not really wanting, or it's not that important to you. You can spend that money on something else.
The bottom line is, like, when you think about it too, like, it takes a neutral person that's not invested in that. So, for example, if you're the bride, and it's like people are like this in the middle of a real estate transaction. They're not thinking clearly about a lot of the details because they're in the middle of the storm themselves.
It's easy to forget something.
If you take somebody that's outside of the storm, they can see a lot clearly what's going on. It's going to be a lot calmer for them because they're not tied emotionally to that.
Yes. We can kind of tell them, this is a really good deal, or this is a great vendor for XYZ reasons, and they can kind of see it.
Right. My point is, though, like when you start with a consultation and someone has said, photography is the most important piece to me. Like, no matter what, photography is the most important piece. I'm going to have that forever. I want my guests to eat, but I'd rather spend more money on photography than food, right? I mean,
right,
that might be, it's your wedding. You have the right to do whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. And so that's why I do give them a wedding budget analysis that they can fill out so that they can do that. So that they can see, okay, I want the photography to be 25% of the budget versus, only 10% or whatever it may be.
So then you get to that place where you're like, okay, you're kind of, you're getting outside of the budget, or this is what you said is important. Is this still important as when we started planning 6 or 12 months ago?
Yes, I have had to reel some brides back in from overspending, because once you get into it, you want and you need and you want that, you kind of forget about the budget sometimes. So I'm there to help you remember that you do have a budget.
That's right, because if you don't, you're going to end up paying for this wedding for years to come.
Exactly.
What drives me crazy is when I see brides and grooms spend all this money for a wedding instead of like using that money for a down payment on a house.
Right.
Like, to me, that just, I don't understand that, because it's one day and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it just makes more sense to, I know it's the most important day for many people, but it's still a day, and people seem to forget that the importance of that is really being with your family and your friends and making it great.
And I am seeing, moreover now, that they are trying to spend less on the wedding so that they can plan for the future.
Makes sense. So number 3 on the list is they're your voice. So this is the 3rd reason on the list of 5 reasons to hire a wedding planner. So what does that mean? We say that the wedding planner can be your voice.
We can help you. If you have somebody that's pushing you to a certain decision and you really want something else, we can kind of help you and be the voice, the bad person, so that you don't have to. We help them stay on track, on a timeline, so we can be that person saying, hey, come on, we got to go. We got to keep it moving and stuff. So
It does kind of help to have that good cop, bad cop mentality, because then it's like the bride, and I could see me, like, I can't think about this right now. Like, I have other stuff going on. This is why my wedding coordinator is doing it. Number 4 is they're creative.
Absolutely.
I would imagine all of you guys are creative.
We have to think of easy ways, the tricks of the trade to help you save money, to if there's an issue or a problem, to fix that problem before anybody else sees it. So we have to really be creative.
All right, so
sometimes.
what are one of those things that you're like, oh, this didn't work out as planned and I had to fix it real quick? Give me an example.
Well, thankfully, a lot of my stuff runs smoothly, but we have had a little tear on the dress, but I carry my wedding coordinator basket that has just about everything in it, so we had some pins and stuff to kind of put it together. Rain has been an issue before, but thankfully it's good luck to have rain on your wedding day.
So what do you do when you have this outside beach wedding planned and it monsoons? And you've been planning this for 12 months in advance.
Unfortunately, there's always Plan B, especially when you have a beach wedding or outdoor wedding. So then you have to go to Plan B, and we do decorate and make that as best as we can.
So what's Plan B? Is that a tent or a different venue?
It's a tent or inside. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
An inside room.
The time ever change? Is that ever a Plan B? Based
The
on
time
money?
has only changed because maybe somebody's running really late, and I don't have any control over that.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right, so number 5 on your list is they're your day of timeline.
Absolutely, and that's the biggest thing. You're inviting so many guests to come to your event. You don't want them sitting around waiting for, you or the next thing that's going to happen. So I do keep everybody online. I get a list of all the vendors. I make sure they know they're supposed to be at a certain place at a certain time to set up. I make sure that they're there, and I keep it moving. Keep the photographer on pace, and everybody else, the food and everything else on pace, so that everything runs smooth for you.
It's so funny because I was looking at some of your photos, like in your presentation, and the one guy in here, he looks like my cousin. He really does, but that's not his wife, and they got married in Jamaica, so I know it's not my cousin, but man, it looks like him. It really does. So, what are your bride's final consensus? Like, what do they think after it's all said and done? They feel like it's money well spent?
Absolutely. They're like, I'm so thankful I had it because I didn't have to worry the day of. I could just relax, have a good time, and that's what it's all about. You're spending all this money on this event. You want to make sure that you can have a good time at the event. So with a wedding planner coordinator, that's what they do. They take the stress off of you and make sure that you can have a good time. So everybody's been very pleased and very excited. Money well spent.
So do you make sure that the brides and grooms get to eat? Because that's like the
Yes.
biggest thing, right? Like
Yes.
with the brides and grooms is, and even with my husband and I found we had all this food and we didn't get to eat.
Mm-hmm.
During our wedding, we ended up eating like food at the airport, and my husband got sick the next day. We missed our flight. Like, it just snowballed.
And even cutting the cake. Some people forget to cut the cake because they're waiting so long. They're dancing or they have other things going on. That's a big thing.
So you
too.
keep
don't
that
wanna wait.
moving while they're doing other stuff.
Absolutely. You don't want to wait too long to cut the cake so that you just can enjoy that yummy cake.
So what's another little wedding snafu like that? Because that's a great point. I don't know that I would have thought about that.
Yeah, so that would be one of them.
Is it? So what are the other things that people forget? Like, they ever forget to throw the bouquet, or
Some people don't want to throw the bouquet, but yeah, that's one thing.
have people
some of
started
the
eliminating
toasts,
that from the
They
tradition?
have. Surprisingly, they have. They don't want that whole garter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to do that anymore either.
Well,
They're
that-
embarrassed, I guess. I don't know
It's
what
just
it is.
it's a different old tradition
Mhm.
that I could see why a lot of people might not want to take with them in the future. So do they still do something old, something borrowed, something blue,
absolutely.
something new,
You
all
still have
that?
to keep that tradition.
Okay, I love it. So we're going to talk about some of the things in the budget analyst, and there's a lot of little things on here that I never would have thought about. And so that it's the neat things. I asked you to send me your checklist to me. Thank you for doing that in advance. But I'm just going to look through and like give you an idea of some of the things that you might not think of when you're going through here and you're planning this. One of them is like looking at the wedding budget. So you have not, one of the biggest costs is probably where you're going to have it, right? So
Yes.
the place.
Absolutely.
Officiant costs. So you have to pay like your pastor, your minister, whoever's going to do it. Officiant gratuity. I didn't even know about. I don't know if they didn't have that when I got married, or maybe I just didn't know because I don't have a wedding planner. So you're supposed to tip your officiant?
You're supposed to tip your vendors, yes.
Oh wow! So is that like a standard? Like if they did a good job, 20%?
Yes, it's basically if they did a good job, you do the 15%, 20%. If they did an outstanding job, you can give them more. But it's whatever you're comfortable with, however you felt they did a well job.
So this is a little thing that I could see a lot of people missing if they were trying to plan it on their own. But the guest book, the pen, the holder, like that's one of those
things.
things.
Think you have a nice guest book out there, and then wait a minute, where'd the pen go? I forgot a pen. So yes.
Or you forget the book.
Or you forget the book. Yes.
You forget the book, or you forget to have people sign the book. Right? Like how many times does that happen?
That does happen a lot.
Are a lot of people going to the engagement photos where they sign the border? Are they still doing that?
Yes, that's a big thing now. Or they'll have the new Polaroids where they take a picture and then their guests sign the Polaroid. And that's a fun new thing that they're doing too.
It's amazing how some of these old trends have kind of re-looped back.
Mm-hmm.
And so another thing too is the flower girl, the ring bearer, all those things, little baskets, all those little pieces.
All those little things.
So you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. We went into just a few little pieces on the wedding budget. When we come back, we're going to get a little bit more into the budget analyst. We're going to talk about some of the other things you might not have expected. And then on the last segment, we're going to talk about the boutique. So some of the things you might find if you visit the boutique. We're going to talk about the new location and some of the changes for that place. We'll be back in just a minute.
You ran over. I gave you the minute sign at 9 minutes. And you went to 13. But that's okay. We could, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it was 10, 10, 12, 8. So yeah, you have to fix it somehow.
Okay, you got.
Actually, you could leave it. It's okay.
Or can we take some off the third segment? Can we, instead of 12, can we do 9 minutes?
You can even leave it. It's fine. Because on the station, we find we got more airtime. We do have Money Talk, so.
Okay, so. Instead of 40. Yeah, because that's only 40
What's the most
minutes.
creative wedding you've done?
Okay, so you're 3 minutes over, so you just want to do a 12 and an 8.
DIY things.
So it'll be 3 minutes extra.
It was neat.
No
Yeah,
big deal.
very pretty.
That's all right.
Okay,
I think that
Her dress was neat too.
no problem.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Very
means
different.
I didn't know
That's
that.
how
you
everything
Oh,
was.
sorry, yeah, I was over here.
Very different.
Mm-hmm.
You want a 1 minute, right? A 1 minute.
Oh, that's fine.
I put your purse in there because it kept going off. That's okay.
You ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk, and we are back after the bottom of the hour break. We're here in studio with Sabrina Simpson. She's with the Southern Sweetheart, and we have been knee deep in the middle talking about the event planning and the process. And I love your checklist and how you really can help people stay on budget. And there's just so many little things that I know people probably would forget. And it'd be interesting to talk about some of the trends and the changes that you've seen, like over the years, and how things have changed a little bit. Now, the bridal gown, how much of a percentage of the budget is that usually?
The bridal gown actually is about 6% of the budget.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what is the average wedding dress run these days? And do you find that people are still buying new? Or are they buying it after it's been used once? Because, I mean...
Absolutely. There's a whole new trend of buying used dresses because they see that it's still a great dress and you technically only going to wear it once.
That's
so
right.
They want to save that money so they can put it somewhere else that they want to use that. Mm-hmm.
And so, are the alterations typically a really expensive part of it?
They're not too bad. It depends on if you're buying a dress that fits you and you just need a few alterations versus if you find a dress you absolutely love and you need it completely taken in and shortened.
And you guys go through a lot of those details, like, you know, are you going to have a headpiece, you're going to have a veil, or are we going to have a tiara?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are you doing gloves, or are you not doing gloves? How does that fit into the ring? I mean, so you're talking through all those pieces.
Absolutely. You kind of need to know because everything does affect your bottom line budget. And you want to be prepared so you don't forget those items.
And jewelry matters, right? Less is more. Have you ever had some brides you're like, oh, that's too much jewelry for your day, you got to take some stuff off? Does that happen?
No. Because everybody has in their eyes what they want to look like, what they want to wear. So they usually look very beautiful.
And we were talking about the garter and the stockings. A lot of people have kind of removed that tradition from their wedding.
Yes, they have.
And then how often are you seeing that people, they probably still get their hair done a lot, but a lot of brides, I would imagine, do their own makeup, or do they have it done?
No. I'm seeing all the weddings I've done, they always have it done. They have
So
their
hair and
done
makeup?
and makeup done. Their girls are getting their hair and makeup done because they want to make sure everybody looks their best.
Nice.
Yes.
And then manicure, pedicure, all that stuff, probably.
And
So are you keeping the parties on track and making sure that they try to do the bachelor and the bachelorette party the weekend before the wedding or a couple of days before the wedding so that everyone's not hungover at the wedding?
Absolutely.
Does that happen? You have to have those hard conversations with the bride and groom?
I do give them a wedding timeline to try to keep them on track. When you hire me as your wedding planner, I do give you a wedding book, a bride book that you kind of follow, and you have a timeline that keeps you on track to make sure that you know where we're at, that we're on track, so that even the bachelorette party and groom's party is on there.
Are most people doing that the weekend before?
Actually, no, they're doing it. They're planning more things of going out of state and doing a like to Nashville or something, a fun weekend getaway kind of thing. So they were planning it a month or so before.
Gotcha. Makes sense, yeah, because you wouldn't want to do that the weekend before
No.
for the wedding. Because especially we see like, who was it? One of my friends, I think somebody like broke something, or like, one of my friends, like he fell down and like literally clobbered his face right for the
definitely
wedding.
don't want that for the wedding. We're also seeing a lot of cruises.
So
they're
people
going
are.
out on a cruise and celebrating.
So how much more is that before or after? Before?
Oh, before, yes.
So have you done any event plannings where they're on the cruise and they get married on the cruise, or does that totally increase the budget?
I haven't done that yet. I'd love to, because that means I go on a free cruise.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And again, it all depends on what all you're wanting me to do.
Now the photography. For most people, what percentage of the budget is that? So I know your general rule of thumb it's around 9%, but do you find people usually spend more or less than that?
They're willing to spend more on a photographer if they find a photographer they really like. It's between 6 and 9% that they'll spend. I have a fantastic photographer, and when you hire me as your wedding planner, I actually give you a free engagement session with him.
Nice. I love that. So, and then you have different albums that you have printed. So your bride and groom albums, engagement photography, like you mentioned, which is nice. It's a nice little piece. And then formal bride portraits, the parents album.
Yes, or the grandparents album.
Yes.
That's a great gift to give to the parents or the grandparents to kind of, share your special day with them.
So are the thank you cards, they do a lot of custom stuff where they send a photo of the bride and groom
They
on the
are.
thank you card?
Yes.
Because, digital technology has fast forwarded so much.
The thank you cards are usually that I'm seeing are a picture of the bride and groom on the day. And that's just a great thing to share with your guest.
Because when they get a photo, most of them, I guess in this day and age, it's posted on social media. So it's
Right.
going to be on Facebook, on Twitter, it's going to be on Instagram, wherever people are. The videographer, like this is a piece that is a whole new piece, like over the last several years weren't around. And
Sure.
so, and video has changed so much with video production and editing and that type of stuff that it's a bigger percentage than probably it used to be.
Absolutely. A lot of people are now wanting to go back and reminisce and watch that whole fun reception and see them again, yes.
So basically 5% of the budget is a good idea for videography.
Yes, for a good one.
And then stationery, 4%. I think that number may have come down.
I agree with you there, yes. A lot of people aren't doing stationery. You only have a handful of brides that want to write that handwritten thank you note or have their new name put on stationery.
So I'm going to read through these because some of these, like I would imagine they don't do them at all or anymore.
Okay.
So like invitations, response cards, reception cards, ceremony cards, pew cards, seating place cards, rain cards, never heard of that one, maps, ceremony programs, announcements, thank you notes, stamps, calligraphy, and napkins and matchbooks.
Yes, you'd be surprised. There is a lot of people that are using the ceremony cards or the planners that kind of tell their guests how the ceremony is going to go.
Okay.
And who the people are in the ceremony. So that is becoming something that's getting used.
So we know what the
more.
invitations are. We know what the response cards are for people to RSVP back. Reception cards.
It tells you where the reception is. Not all weddings are at the same place as the
Gotcha.
reception.
Okay.
Mhm.
But they don't do that on the invitation anymore?
Not always, no.
Okay. And then, because I think when we did it, our reception was at a different place, but it was like reception following up, blah, blah, blah. And it was on the invitation. So, pew cards, obviously. Do a lot of people use those?
That is to basically reserve that pew.
For the family.
You'd be surprised how many of your guests think that it's okay to sit on that front row, when that's really technically for the parents and the grandparents to sit.
We should have done a whole segment on wedding etiquette.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Another thing that I love to talk about too, because like my kids know this, and we talked about it many times, but the 3 colors, in my opinion, you never wear to a wedding are white, because it's only reserved for the bride, black, because that's really a funeral color, and red.
Yes.
It's a.
But you'd be surprised. They show up at the wedding in all 3 colors.
I know, and it surprises me. But wedding etiquette. Like they should send a wedding etiquette card. Like that might be a little more appropriate. So, what are rain cards? I've never heard of that.
If it rains, where are your guests supposed to go?
So
Because
that's
the
the backup
invitation
plan.
or the other card says they're supposed to be here. Well, what if it's raining? How do your guests know where to go? So they'll have those.
So does that go with the invitation, or before, if it rains, like if the weather is forecasting rain, then it gets mailed out?
Then you might want to send it or have it, and I can help you send those out.
Nice. Okay, so maps.
Maps.
Is that like a printed map of where we're going?
It's a printed
People
map
don't
of
just
where to
Google
go.
the address?
A lot of people, if you have out-of-state guests, especially if you're having Florida or a destination wedding, they might not be familiar with that area, or their phone doesn't have maps or Google
Yes.
on it. So this is just a hard map that they can carry, put in their purse or pocket, and they know where they're going.
So stamps make sense. And calligraphy. Do people still use calligraphy?
They do still use calligraphy, and even the wax seals are coming back too.
Wow.
To invitations.
How many people have just went completely digital with the invitations and maybe mailed just invitations to their immediate family?
I'm not seeing that as a big thing, because they still want
The paper
to send it.
invitations.
Yes.
I was just curious how much of that might have changed. Reception, 35% of the budget.
'Cause that's the big party.
That's a big one.
Where it's going.
So what's the most expensive part of the wedding? Is it the food?
The food and the beverages.
So, and that's the makeup of the 35%?
Yes.
Most of it? Gotcha. All right. Well, you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. There's just way too much to get into with this wedding planning guide, which is why you would want to reach out to Jessica Simpson. We haven't even given out your information yet. We will post it on Tampa Home Talk. But go ahead and give out your phone number so people know how to reach you.
Sabrina Simpson.
What did I say? Jessica? Jessica Simpson? That's what I said?
Yes.
I'm making you famous. It's all good.
That's good.
I can't believe I said Jessica Simpson. In my mind, like I do that a lot. I don't know if you do. Like the name remembrance, and you tie it with a name you won't forget. Anyway, and you remind me of my cousin Jessica, which is probably why I said that. So, budget analysis. So there's a lot of these things that are part of the initial consultation. There are things you'll go through with the bride. I ask you to send it to me kind of as a talking point, but this is what you do in depth, is go through all these details with the brides. So go ahead and give all your information, Sabrina. What's your phone number and the best place to reach you?
The best place to reach me is you can email me at thesouthern.sweetheart@hotmail.com, and you can certainly give us a call at the boutique, which is 813-602-8229.
And what was that number one more time?
813-602-8229.
Great. And you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. We have to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be back in just a few minutes to wrap up the segment. We're going to talk all about the boutique, the new location, and what you can expect to find in the shop. We'll be back in a minute.
What time do you want Ella's Boutique to call
We'll
back
call
so
her.
you can talk to them? I think that's who that is.
I guess they can call right after. I mean, we'll be
Around
down
what
here
time?
in
That's fine.
about
How are you?
10 minutes. We'll be done.
Okay.
You're going to be interviewed?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, I can call you right back. What number do you want me to use?
10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. I will call you immediately. Thanks. Jessica Simpson, wow. Yeah, when you said that, I was like,
I'm
hey,
sorry.
You should, that would attract a lot of listeners, actually, if you said, yeah, we have Jessica Simpson. Nobody would know the difference either,
Oh, you're not blind.
Not that,
Is Simpson your married name?
Yes.
Okay.
Da, da, da. Da, Simpsons.
I wasn't even thinking about that. See, I could have said Marge. I said Marge. I said Jessica. That's funny.
Jessica Simpson. That's
So,
funny.
God, now I've got Jessica Simpson in my head. You guys shouldn't have said anything. I would have just went right back to Sabrina. Oh, that's all right. You can call me Catherine or Christine or something else. Oh, excuse me. I think it's coffee time. So the last segment we'll talk about
Deirdre,
the
it's,
boutique and your grand
it's Leo
opening,
with
what somebody can expect to find,
WTCF.
some of the prizes and stuff. we're
Okay,
giving
let
away.
me hook you up with the girls. Just
Sounds good.
stand by.
It'll be about 10 minutes, Lee.
Oh, 10 minutes.
We got an 8-minute segment.
Oh, this is all right. So
This is
you're
our
doing two
fourth
shows
segment,
today.
right?
You're doing 2 shows today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I thought you were doing one. Okay.
I did too.
Okay. Well, okay. It'll be about 10 minutes. You want? Can I call you back in 10? Okay. Sorry about that.
I guess.
Okay. Call you back in about, probably closer to 10:15, something like that. Okay, Deirdre. Hello. She hung up. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes, Sabrina.
Yes,
I got
Sabrina
it.
Simpson.
Good. Like Bewitched.
Okay. And 3, 4. I'm not ready. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. We are listening to Tampa Home Talk today with our guest Jessica. No, just kidding. I did it on purpose. Sabrina Simpson. I messed up her name in the last segment, so I had to throw myself under the bus a little bit there. So Sabrina Simpson, she's with the Southern Sweetheart Boutique and Event Planning. Does a lot of wedding planning and that kind of stuff. And so the last segment, I thought we'd talk a little bit about the boutique and some of the stuff you do. And since we're live on the stream, go ahead and show off some of the things that are from the boutique. So, a lot of interesting pieces.
Yes, we do carry a bourbon and bow tie bracelet.
Wait, bourbon and bow tie?
Yes.
What's bourbon and bow tie? Is that it?
This is bourbon and bow tie. They're bracelets. She's actually a local designer. She sells in
that's pretty.
Nordstrom's and Dillard's, Macy's, and the Southern Sweetheart. We sell them too.
Yes.
So they're very unique. We have different kinds. Here's another one.
And I see your little Florida bracelet.
Yes.
Is
This
that
actually-
glass or mirror?
It's acrylic, and it's
Okay.
part of Moon and Lola, which was a collaboration with Bourbon and Bow Tie.
Nice. And so, what is something like one of those pieces run?
The bigger ones can range in the 30s, but the smaller ones are in the 20s.
Now, is the metal, is it gold or what is it?
It's a steel and
Okay.
a gold
So,
plated.
gold plated steel. Gotcha. And so, your dress?
My dress too. We have all kinds of casual wear, maxi dresses, sundresses, little rompers and jumpers, hats, and fun things like that too.
So the appropriate question, because I asked this yesterday, yesterday the day before, which is right on time, but you don't sell wedding dresses.
We don't. That is a whole different store in its own. Yes, you have to have a lot of time and inventory for wedding dresses.
You should put a little spin on that and create like your own little online consignment boutique where people can search online, but you don't have to actually store the dresses. And then you can connect people. That'd be a little added value.
Thanks for the idea.
She's like,
yes.
bing. Yeah, I have that effect. I love it. So the Southern Sweetheart, Lisa, of course, tagged me in some stuff, which she's like, oh, this is so your daughter. Like, it was this was leopard print, but she would be more like the camo girl with the camo hat and the Florida sign.
Yes, we do embroidery as well. Monogramming is really hot right now, so we do that as well. We have some great baseball
So
hats.
what's the difference between embroidery and monogram?
Embroidery is like a name. It's actually sewing.
Like the sewn threaded name.
Exactly, yes. And monogram is your initials.
Okay.
That's a monogram.
So
It's
that's
still-
like the fancy design with the initials,
Exactly.
right?
Mhm.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what else can you expect to find? Like, what are some of your hot things that don't stick around long?
Our girly girl shirts.
So what's a girly girl shirt?
They're the sweet, cute Southern shirts with the cute stains on them.
So give me an example.
Messy bun, getting it done.
Okay.
We also have cardio is our, let's see. Shopping is my cardio.
Gotcha.
Another one. So just the cute little sing shirts like that.
So embroidered or bling or a little bit of everything?
The shirts are screen printed.
Okay.
And those are, we sell Girly Girl as well as Southern Darling, and It's a Girl. Those are the brands.
And so how big is your shop now, and how big is the place where you're going?
Our shop right now is about 1,200 square feet, and the new shop will be close to 2,000.
Oh, wow. So you guys are really increasing your size there.
Absolutely, yes.
So your grand opening again is what day? It's August?
It's Saturday, August 13th at 11 o'clock. That's when the ribbon cutting will be.
Flyer up.
Awesome. So who's doing your ribbon cutting? Is it Chamber? Or?
The Chambers, the Zephyr Hills Chambers coming
Nice.
out. They're going to help us promote this and do the ribbon cutting for us. They helped us with our prior location, and they were really great.
So August 13th, Saturday at 11 a.m.
Yep, we'll have mimosas and some munchies for you guys. We'll do some drawings and giveaways.
So you're going to do drawings from the Southern Sweetheart Boutique? Or is it going to be other drawings? Or
No, it will be from us. Pick some items out of the store, and also some gift certificates too, so you can choose what item you'd like.
Nice. So your location is going to be off of Gall Road, and what was the crossroad?
It's off of Gall Boulevard.
Or Gall
which
Boulevard,
is,
yeah.
Right next to Hobby Lobby. It is right before Daughtry.
Gotcha.
Across the street from the Ross and TJ Maxx.
So I think you're going to get a lot of the walk-in traffic from the guys going to Hobby Lobby and the girls that just want to pop in.
Absolutely.
And
We
check
kinda
you guys
have the
out.
same Southern feel and crafty items, very unique items that you can't just get anywhere.
Which is nice. I like that. So you guys are kind of like Hallmark on steroids. Like you got a little bit of a different Southern twist.
Yes.
What are your regular hours and business days?
Right now we're only open from 1 to 5:30 Tuesday through Friday, and Saturday is 9 to 5. But once we get to the new location, our hours will be more. We'll be open from 11 to 7 on most days, closed on Sundays and Mondays.
Okay. So what other changes do you think you'll make to the new shop after the move?
We're going to add a few fun things. We are going to be adding some vinyl cutting so that you can have stickers and stuff for your cups and your cars. And
Okay, so vinyl cutting, like where basically it's a custom logo or initials or whatever.
Logo, initials, monograms.
And you can
have
stick
a lot
them
of requests for that.
to any hard surface or plastic. That's nice.
Yes.
And so that's neat because you could do a lot of little custom printed things, not only for the bridesmaids or the grooms, but you could do stuff with the date.
Yes, absolutely. I also have a customer that comes in regularly whenever her daughter's invited to a birthday party. She likes to give a unique gift, and she usually does something like that, or a monogram shirt.
So
or
what kind of gifts does she get? Just curious.
She usually gets a shirt or a hat that's monogrammed, or the embroidered name of